All the problems we have on the planet right now, you could stem all of the issues back to all of us individually not doing the work on ourselves. Take man, know thyself, learn about ourselves, about our shadow, about our light, bring these things into balance.
We are our own problem and our own savior, man.
It's recognizing that yes, we're the soul.
But you have to believe in yourself, right? Or
you can know.
You can know.
You can know that you are good enough. That's the difference. So
it's
Cheers.
Cheers on life. We are here today with John, and today we'll talk about general health, well-being, deep ancient wisdom, changing yourself, taking responsibility, and going your path, going into your power, and to level up being a beautiful flower. Give a like, subscribe, join a tribe, because I'm with John and he took his own path to be here in Copenhagen and to do a yoga class, and not only that, just really going into the unknown. And sometimes in life you just have to do these things. What do you feel about the yoga for you? Why did you take that class, and why did you go out of your natural or unnatural habitat in London to really go out of the way there?
Well, it's a long story, right? But essentially, in the last few years, I've been on my journey. I had like a strange experience, and for want of a better word, we could say an awakening experience. And so, over the last few years, I've just been trying to figure out things about myself, about life, reality, and also trying to figure out how to sort of help people and give back to people, contribute to the world, not just live selfishly for myself. That we all, we all seem to live that way, right?
Yes.
Like society is trying to make us just
focus on the
ourselves and service to self. So basically, I was trying to think of ways to help other people, but also sort of work within this area that I'm interested in. So I thought the yoga teacher training would be really cool. I'm staying there for a month. I'll be meeting like-minded people. I'll have a qualification afterwards where I can actually help people, teach people. You know, it's like a permission slip for myself to be able to, but okay, now I can actually maybe help people, you know? Yeah. Maybe I am qualified to talk about this to some level, not just some YouTube research, you know?
And could you tell me more about like your spiritual awakenings that you really lived through?
Yeah, I've had a few. So like, we could say there's been organic and inorganic ones in a sense. So you could say like the inorganic is like psychedelics. Because they do the job for you, really, right?
Right.
You just have to turn up and they'll do the for you. So yeah, some amazing psychedelic experiences, very scary ones as well. And
did you have bad trips? Yeah.
For the ego, yeah. Not for the soul. For the ego is a bad trip.
Like ego dissolving energies.
Yeah. The ego is like very fragile for a while after those trips, but for the being, for the soul, it was amazing. But yeah, so I've had like some trips, very interesting. But then my most recent experience, which was like a massive like catalyst, was basically I'd had a bit of a dark time, to be quite honest. It was COVID time. I'd been traveling, and my traveling plans had been like ruined because of COVID. So I was in Vietnam, feeling sorry for myself, and I started partying a bit too much, taking a few substances which aren't the best for you, right? And so. Upon coming home, I went through like a sobering up process. But part of that, during that process, I ended up like in hospital, and then I realized like this needs to change, you know. So I went for a sobering up, and after like a month of going through like a detox where I basically didn't sleep and I hardly ate. So essentially, I did like a fasting. I didn't want to, I just couldn't eat because I was detoxing. But anyway, after like a month of that. One day I just went for a walk and I had like just an ego death. Like, suddenly my mind just stopped. It was silence and my heart just like opened up and like all this like emotion just flooded back. I say it's almost like I was a spring that was like suppressed for ages with these substances, and then it just, after I sobered up, I just fired back up, and it was surreal though. Like, yeah, it was like an ego death and I was super just heightened for a while, but very open to everything, and yeah, just my heart was super open, man. It was intense, dude.
And you were in COVID at those times, so like the COVID happened, the world shut down,
Yeah.
and you were in Vietnam taking drugs
on
your own.
On
This
my
is what
own.
you do a lot, like traveling alone then, or
Yeah, I love to travel. I love to travel, and I seem to go on my own a lot of the time. You know, friends are busy with family and jobs and things, and yeah.
what do you then do as job or to get the money flowing?
All sorts of things I've done. The most recent things I've done is teaching English. I actually worked as a postman in England for a bit. It was awesome. I was doing like 10 miles of walking a day. I treat it as like a walking meditation.
Yeah.
It was sick. I did 10 miles walking. Anyway, so I did that. I did some landscape gardening. And now I'm basically trying to take steps to get into like working within sort of holistic health, some sort of spirituality, for want of a better word. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get the money, right?
Gotta get
to
the
get
money.
it flowing.
Gotta get the money, gotta get the qualifications as well. Because
Yep.
In this day and age, you know, that's how we're judging each other a lot of the time,
Right.
right? It's like, why are you an authority to tell me this? Why should I listen to you about this, you know? So my friend explained it to me. I think he got it from someone else, but he said we need to get permission slips for like the ego. So that's what I'm doing. Getting the permission slips.
Yes.
Yeah, bro.
And this is also very important that we're talking about general health and well-being. This is why we have our coconut smoothie. You got like a mango passion fruit, right?
Mango passion fruit, no sugar added. Just
Yeah.
fruit,
Like fully natural.
fully natural, fruit and ice.
And how are you going through your life navigating yourself to be fully healthy?
Well, there's a few ways I approach it, I guess. I approach it, one, like the mental side of things, right? So, trying to make sure I'm, doing my practices, I guess, which I'm guilty of not always being the most disciplined, but I do try to do my meditation, my breath work, some exercise, whether that is yoga or calisthenics, and that helps my mental side. Obviously, I just mentioned the exercise. That also helps the physical. Keep the body fit, so you can navigate this matrix, this world. Yeah, I kind of forgot what I was saying there.
Yeah, like the negating or the power of you going into a healthy state.
Yeah.
How do you do this?
Well, how do you go into being healthy? I think the first thing that we all have to do is look at our habits and our lifestyles and like address things that maybe aren't serving us as much, you know? So like I was eating just bad diet, not sleeping properly, all the above. And so I think first I had to be real with myself and be like, actually, you're not helping the situation here. So once I started really thinking about what I was eating, getting the nutrition right, getting the sleep right, things started to fall into place a bit, you know? Because everything needs to be in balance for us to thrive, right? Can't have anything too much either way. We need to be as balanced as possible. So yeah, I think that was it, you know, just getting a good balance on my diet and exercise. Yeah.
And now you're fully going into a new order where you are going to be in service of people instead of that ego-based consciousness that you were into.
Yeah, instead of like that fear-based service to self, sort of self-limiting state of consciousness that most of us are in that egoic state. Now I want to sort of give back to people and try and help people, and follow what I guess they would say in like Hinduism or Buddhism, follow my Dharma, my purpose.
Yeah.
Rather than creating karma, we want to follow the Dharma.
Yes.
You know, so yeah, that's where I'm at with it. Really, you know, just see how I can be of service to the world.
This is what we all have to come down to, like finding your soul plan, or
exactly. Like for you, like the plastics thing sounded so cool, breaking it down, and I just think that's like so good because it's things like this that we all need to be focusing on, to be quite honest. Like we need to be looking at the world that we're in and actually realizing we're part of it. Like we're not separate from it, right? And we only have this earth and we can't just sort of take it for granted and treat it like we have been treating it. And so yeah, we really need to change. So this is how we start doing it, you know?
Connect with planet, connect with yourself and with Mother Gaia.
Yeah.
We're not letting this world go into self-destruction.
No.
We're here still to do the work.
We are still here.
This starts with the inner work, right?
Exactly. So to be of use to anyone and to be of use to the planet, first you need to be of use to yourself, and you need to know yourself. Like we said at the start, know yourself. Or in like the esoteric or occult teachings, they'll say, man, know thyself. And like, yeah, essentially that's what everyone needs to do. We need to learn about ourselves, about our shadow, about our light. And we need to, again, bring these things into balance and make them work for ourselves and for each other, you know? And when I say work for ourselves, I mean in terms of for our highest interest, our best good, not just like our desires and wants, right? You know?
And what does that shadow work for you mean? How did you practice that in your life?
The shadow work for me, well, I had a few techniques taught to me by a teacher called Gene, and he has a YouTube channel actually called Astral Doorway, so shout out to Gene and check it out if you're interested in that sort of stuff. And so a technique that I learned from him, which isn't like he created this, but he is just teaching this information, basically, is that we will try and be as self-aware throughout the day, right? We'll just go about our day as normal. And anytime, I don't know, the ego or lower nature sort of shows up, you just make a little note of it. And then at the end of the day...
And what does that mean, like the lower nature? Like you get angry, or you get frustrated, or...
If we're getting angry, just having like negative thoughts, you could say, about other people, you know, maybe violent, sexual, I don't know.
Yeah.
All of these sort of thoughts. So...
Not divine.
Getting impatient, feeling lack.
Yeah.
All of these lower human energies. Like, I call it like that lower animal nature, right? Because there's like two aspects to us, I see. We've got like this spiritual side and then this animal nature, right? And the key is, again, to get both of those in balance. And so the way that you can do that is through the shadow work. So it's recognizing that, yes, we're the soul, whatever that means to people, but like there is an aspect of us which is metaphysical, it's divine, but there is also this physical nature, and it can't be disregarded, but at the same time we don't want it to be in charge of us, right? So it's kind of addressing those behaviors, those actions, those things you do which don't lead to the highest outcome, like the best outcome for you. Maybe it's things that take you down a lower path. I can't articulate it very well. Yeah.
You do it good.
Okay. Well,
you do it very good.
That's kind of how I see it. So like I'll sit there. I'll go through my day. Make little notes, and then at the end of the day, I will try and go through in my head before meditation. Like, okay, today I got angry with my dad because he said something about some politics thing which I don't actually even care about. But in the moment, it annoyed me.
Yeah, it triggered you.
Yeah, it triggered me. So, so that ego of impatience, I'll go into a meditation. I'll be like, higher self, divinity, divine feminine, divine masculine, whatever you want to call it, source. I do not want to continue to give this ego energy. Please help me to take my energy back for my being, away from this lower aspect of myself, and if so, allow it to be released because it doesn't serve me, sort of thing, right? So that's kind of how to go about it. I'm not saying I do this every day, but that's my practice.
This is a nice practice.
Yeah, that's what I'll try to do. So that's like a shadow practice, shadow work. Just observing the lower nature, the shadow. But like, it's called the shadow, I think, because a lot of the time it's behaviors that we just do unconsciously. We're not really aware of those aspects of ourselves, right? So it's going about your day with the will, the intention to learn about yourself, even if it's not positive, you know? And again, Gene, he said, first, before we can ascend, first we have to descend. So we have to first go into the depths of our soul, of our being, and flush out those sort of
Negative parts.
Negative parts, those things that are limiting us and holding us back, right? The things that suppress our soul, you know? And that's what's happening to everyone, I think. Do you not think?
Yeah, and I'm curious on what type of unconscious behaviors that you were like struggling with.
Oh, probably all of them.
Like?
No, like, you know, so I've always been someone who has felt things very deeply, right? So, and in this world, which, let's face it, is quite sick, I think, society is quite sick. It's not set up to nurture the human soul properly, is it? Let's be honest. It's here to just suppress us and limit us and keep us scared and fearful and all that. And as someone who sort of feels that very heavily, I think like I always sought to escape it and take substances to like help deal with the pain and the heaviness of life, right? And the apparent meaninglessness of life. Because again, society basically says that, well, I mean, what does it say? It's saying that we're just like almost like AI of nature. You know what I mean? That's kind of what they say. They're just like, oh, there was like the Big Bang, and then consciousness just arose out of matter, and there's not really any point to any of this, right? We're just sort of like a fluke, and you're lucky to be alive, so just sort of get through and take and consume as much as you can in this lifetime, because that's all you're here for. But I just think that's shit. I think matter came out of consciousness, right? So consciousness was the pre-existing thing. That's what I think. And so we're not actually a fluke of nature. Every single person, every single living thing is divine and is meant to be here for whatever reason that is. We can't even comprehend why that is as a human.
Yeah. And what do you feel on the esoteric and occult research that you do, that why it is your way of going through navigating into this matrix with this type of specific knowledge or wisdom?
Well, the reason I found it so interesting was because I specifically was looking at esoteric information from the Gnostic teachings, if you know the Gnostics.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love about them is what Gnostic or Gnosis means, which is knowledge, right? It's knowledge from experience. And so, like, whenever I'd look at religions, they're telling me to believe, read, believe, right? You've got to believe this. But there was like a video where this like Jamaican dude is going like, you should never just believe, because belief is a doubt. So you can't know something if you believe, right? Because
but you have to believe in yourself, right? Or
you can know in
you
yourself.
can know.
You can know that you are good enough. That's the difference. So
it's
not thinking maybe I'll be good enough. I think I might be good enough. It's like, no, I'm good enough. I am good enough. And so what the Gnostics anyway were saying is that they're saying on an individual level we can know divinity, or we can know ourself, our higher self, through practice, through meditation, astral projection experiences, all of these things. You can know for yourself. You maybe can't know in a way where it can be documented and shared to someone, because just that transmission of knowledge is basically like a belief for someone else, right? It's not their experience. But the esoteric teachings of the Gnostics are trying to equip the students to have their own experiences. And so instantly that just got me interested, and so I started doing the meditations and like the just the daily self-evaluations, and I started having like astral projection experiences at night, and that was just surreal. Like,
did you like research the astral projection on how to do it, or did it happen naturally?
So basically I found Gene's channel, and his channel is Astral Doorway. That's what it's called. And so he's teaching how to astral project using techniques from esoteric and occult sciences, but specifically like Gnosticism.
Mm-hmm.
The Gnosticism of Master Samael Aun Weor. He's
nice.
an interesting guy, but he compiled like some very syncretic teachings from loads of different traditions, like ancient Egypt, Hinduism, Buddhism, the Mayans, all of these different traditions. He's compiled like mantras and techniques which can awaken the consciousness out of the ego, essentially, right? And so, so I was following those teachings, started having experiences, and it just made me realize that there is more to reality than when we realize. And
just then this 3D world, right?
Yeah.
This physical body or this physical world that we live in, it's higher planes are here.
Yeah, and when you actually experience the higher planes, they feel more real than this. This feels like a dream. Like it's amazing. Like honestly, some of the things I've seen are beautiful. So beautiful. And also a couple of things are a little scary, but...
Did you like come into contact with demons in the astral world also, or...?
Maybe. Yeah, they might have been demons. I don't know what they were, but I've like twice seen some kind of creepy stuff, you could say. Yeah. Yeah. One time this like being was like trying to get into my house, right? Like, so with the astral planes,
trying to get in.
Dude, with the astral planes, it's crazy. Like I've heard it like this, right? The highest level of the physical is like the lowest level of the astral. So there's like a crossover.
Yeah.
I know that crossover.
Yeah.
It's like a 1-to-1 copy almost. So like, what we can experience here in the physical can be experienced there. So I was in my house there, and I went downstairs into like the front room where the front door is, and yeah, there was just a being at the door trying to get in. It was crazy. And it put its hand on the glass, and like I put my hand on the glass too, and there was some weird energy exchange, and it felt really negative. But then I like backed off and used this mantra on it that I learned from Master Samael Onvyor, and it pushed the being away from my front door onto the street. But it changed like the being's appearance. So the being had like a big long mask, you know, like the plague mask?
No.
Like basically in the past, when the Black Plague was in England, there was a doctor's mask which was like a bird, like a beak. And it had this like beak mask with a big eye like that. And it was just at my door, like this, like. And then when I did the mantra on it, which is Helion, Melion, Tetragrammaton, that's an esoteric protection mantra. And anyone can use that. It backed it off onto the street, and it had like a rubbish bag on its head, like a plastic bag. Instead of the beak, it was like a bag. It was really weird. I don't know, dude. Yeah, I've seen them, basically. I've seen demons.
Well, yeah. They all came onto our field, right? And now we are kind of battling them, or integrating them, or like, what do you feel with those?
I think it's both. I think it's like, in English, the term semantics. It's like we're battling and integrating. It's kind of both at the same time. But yeah, I think there are beings who do influence us, from what I've seen and what I've read, and I think they are. I think they influence us more than we realise. But the thing we need to remember about them is that they don't actually have any control over us, other than like the fear that they can create within us. So they don't actually have any authority over us. We actually have authority over
ourselves,
over ourselves and them, actually.
Yeah.
You can just say to them, "Go away. I do not give you any control, permission for anything. Just leave me alone."
I stand in love, and they do not like love, right?
Stand in love. You're not wanted. So we're battling them, but it's not really a battle like we have to go to war. It's more just that we need to focus on ourselves, do the practice, and essentially deny them access to us, which they gain access to us through our lower nature, our ego, our desires, our lower thoughts, all these things. So the way that we overcome them, integrate them, battle them, is we just do the inner work. And that's the answer to all of our issues, actually, funnily enough. All the problems we have on the planet right now, you could stem all of the issues back to all of us individually not doing the work on ourselves, right? As deep as it is, it can all stem back to that.
The inner work, bro. This is a like the farthest path, but the closest way is just going in.
You've got to go in. To get the results on the outside, you have to go in first.
Because what you receive on the outside world is what happens on the inside world, right?
Again, a Kabbalion. As above, so below. As within, so without. It's a Hermetic axiom, Hermetic principle. So it's trying to say, like, we are within consciousness. We're within our own mind right now. So you've got to go inward to get the results outward. But it's a paradox, because going in, we are going out at the same time. It's strange, but yeah, we're within. We are within consciousness right now, within the construct, and then when we're within the construct, we also then go within the body.
It cannot come out of you if it's not coming inside of you, or right?
Yeah, kind of. Right.
So that process of doing that inner work is also the most challenging part. It's like even starting the first pillars of that process, like stopping the habits that really break you, smoking, drinking, just being with low vibrational energies, whatever that is.
Yeah, well,
this is like so hard.
We've got to suffer for a bit. Yeah, that's the problem. We have to suffer for a little bit. Like the Buddha said it, life is suffering, right? It just means to have this experience, to have the illusion of being individuals, of being John, Nichols. That comes with the illusion of suffering, right? It's the illusion of separation from source. So yeah, like this life is about suffering, but the point is we choose it. We should choose our struggle. I prefer that actually, not suffering. A better word should be struggle. Life is struggle. And we choose it. So either we're going to go to the gym and exercise and go for a tough training session and then afterwards we get the results. We've chosen our suffering. Or we don't do the exercise and we'll be weak, feeble, and we won't be able to navigate the world and we'll be more of a victim to the life, right? So it's like choosing, I think that's a good one. Choosing your struggle is really important because life will make you...
It will be a battle anyway, right? But then, you're ready for the battle.
You're going to have a battle no matter what. Shit is not going to go the way you want it to go, ever. But if you can make as much of life on your terms as possible...
And view it like in a positive way, whatever happens, right? It's your perception. It's
perception. It's like in the Bible, right? There was the story of eating off the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and in certain esoteric fields, they say that what that is referencing is it's referencing the ego's habit of labeling and judging, and just that labeling and judging of things being positive or negative is almost like what traps us here, right? Because things are. So, but when we attribute that label to it, this is good or this is bad, suddenly we're creating suffering now, which didn't even have to be there, right? Excuse. Yeah. It's so interesting, man.
Yeah, we are our own problem and our own savior, man.
Yep.
But you gotta be ready to take the power and to take the leap of faith.
Take the leap of faith. Try to take the power back for a bit, right? Try to reclaim your power, your sovereignty. Overcome your lower nature.
And this goes deep because the sovereignty, or being an autonomous or autonom, I don't know like the full word, but it's like it's healing. It's the shadow work. It's really getting a hold of your structure, your bioenergetic field, or your chakras, or your full body, mind, and soul. Getting power over it.
It's allowing the life force, your energy, to flow through the body, not just being stuck in these centers, these parts of the body. So the chakras, in spirituality, they talk. You hear people talk about being stuck in the lower centers and things. Well, when you look at it from the esoteric science explanation, they're trying to refer to the hormonal secretions of the endocrine system, right? And so from the heart up, the hormonal secretions from the heart up, I cannot even remember all of the names of the hormones, but they give life and energy to the body. It's vitality. So what is the love hormone that we feel? Oxytocin, I think?
Yes.
So oxytocin. So when we're
This is
feeling,
powerful.
that is life-giving. But then below that, we've got the solar plexus, the kidneys, we've got cortisol. That's what's released there. Cortisol, adrenaline. That's life. That's robbing of vitality. But so most of us are stuck there. I've been stuck there my whole life. You know, it's only just the last few years where I've been able to go up into this heart center and then allow the energy to flow up and back again.
Yes.
But that's the point, is that we get stuck in these centers. Anger, fear, sex, you know, whatever, overindulging in food.
Lust, greed, guilt, shame.
And it's not like, you know, it's not like sex or eating certain foods is bad, because again, that's labeling it. But it's getting those things in balance and making them work for you, right? And not rob you of your vitality in your life. That's the key.
Yes. Open your heart, and where is the key?
Open your heart. I don't know where the key is though. You got to find the key yourself.
Yeah.
It's inward. That's where the key is.
Yeah.
It's inside.
It's inside where it has been buried, right?
Yep.
Under all emotions.
All the programming.
All the programming.
Yep. All of the above.
All the past lives, maybe.
All the naughty
It could
things
be
you got
there.
to in the past life.
Right?
I
It
think
could
it's
be gone because of something happening, whatever.
I think
In your childhood, maybe, right? There, because of trauma, you lost your heart.
yeah, we see it like, I think, you know, we start off, there's this pure little vessel, right? And then suddenly certain things happen and we label it as a negative experience, and we store it as like trauma. And that just influences us throughout our lives, and we don't realize, you know, like there's so many aspects of the personality that we think are us is actually just like trauma, you know? Yeah, so you don't even know who you are until you start doing the work.
Indeed. Opening thyself. And I'm curious, do you have like products or services that you already help the people with? Or like maybe in the future, distant, or
future?
even when this podcast comes out, this is already set up?
So I'll do one-to-one in person, and I will also be looking at doing sort of general lectures, that sort of thing. So yeah, both will be
Teaching and
available.
preaching.
Teaching and preaching, both will be available.
Cheers, man. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
John,
Nichols. Thank you,
for this
man.
beautiful experience.
Yep.
And yeah, love to talk to you.
Okay,
And conscious talks. And then, you know, walk the talks. Hey. Walk
Hey,
it
we
like
need
a
these.
talk it, huh?
We can talk it, but can we walk it? That's the point. I think we can.
You want to go now for the end of it, go into the pool?
Yeah, let's
You
do
wanna
it.
do that?
Let's go.